Hey everyone! So today we are going to be making this beloved character Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters. As you can see, this was the promised tutorial and I hope you all enjoy. So now to get straight into it, let's have a look at the materials we'll be needing. First off, we'll need a 1.9mm hook, but feel free to use anywhere between a 1.75 and a 3mm hook if you are using 4-ply cotton yarn, and that's what I'm using today. Now if you have your own regular hook and yarn, feel free to use that as well, because this pattern should be universal. Now if you're using 4-ply cotton yarn or just any yarn, the colors that you'll need today are flesh pink, black, red, royal blue, or just any type of blue that you have, purple for the hair, yellow for the jacket, and of course white or cream white. You'll also need a pair of cutters, and you will also need either 6 or 7mm black safety eyes, which we have here. Now optional is pins, but feel free to use that. You'll also need a sewing or tapestry needle, though I would suggest using a leather type needle because it's very sharp and it makes it easy to go inside the stitches with this. And then last but not least, you'll also need your fiber filling. Okay, so to start off, you'll need your flesh pink colored yarn, and we're going to make a magic ring. Now for those of you who are very new to crochet, I suggest looking at my beginner tutorial crochet playlist, and there you can check out how to do all of these basic techniques, and once you've mastered those, come back here and do this tutorial. So for our magic ring, we're actually going to create 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. Now I'm going to quickly teach you the technique that I do for single crochet stitches, and this is the one that I also recommend for Amigurumi. So you'll need to have your hook go over the yarn. So technically the yarn is under the hook first, and then you pull it up, and then the yarn goes over the hook second. So we call that yarn under, yarn over. Another technique is having the yarn under first and then the yarn under again as you pull it, and that would be called yarn under, yarn under. But I wouldn't recommend using the yarn over technique. So I'll link a video here so that you can check out the differences between those. But for this one, I'm going to be using the yarn under, yarn over technique. So here we go, yarn under first and then yarn over. So we've just made 3 single crochet stitches right there. Let's make another 3 to finish off this magic ring. 1, 2, and number 3, just like that. Now what you'll do is you'll grab this yarn tail and pull the yarn tail so you can close the gap of that magic ring. From there, what you'll do is insert your hook into the very first single crochet stitch space, and then you will make a slip stitch and chain 1. Now feel free to work your stitches in a spiral as well, but you may need to make adjustments accordingly if you do that, so that all of the legs and the arms line up well. For the purposes of this tutorial, I'm just going to do the slip stitch and chain 1. It works out the same, and it looks pretty good as well. Okay, now with this yarn tail, what you can choose to do is have it come over the hook as you complete the next round, so that you can weave it in for the first couple of stitches at least. So this is round 2 now, and we're going to be making increases in every stitch space. So an increase just means 2 single crochet stitches in 1 stitch space. So there's my first increase there. Here's my second increase coming up, and I've got this yarn tail from the magic ring coming over the hook as I do that. So there's 1. In the same space, I'll make a second. And there we go. So that's our second increase right there. Now I'm going to leave this yarn tail over here, and we're going to keep going now until we finished the second round. So here's the 3rd increase, the 4th increase, the 5th increase, 1 and 2, and for our last one, and the 6th increase right here, 1 and 2. And then we have our slip stitch and chain 1. There we go, guys. Well done. Okay, so let's go on to the 3rd round now. So this is what we're going to do in the 3rd round. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1, 2. Let's do it again. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. And I'm going to get you to repeat that pattern all the way around until you have 18 stitches in that round, and then we'll get to round 4 together. Okay, so this is the end of round 3 right here. Slip stitch and chain 1. And now we are up to round number 4. So in round number 4, we're going to do the following. Let's make, first of all, 5 single crochet stitches. 2, 3, 4, and here is the 5th one right here. Now for the 5th one, we are actually going to start changing the color to black. So let's just grab some black colored yarn right here, and then weave that black yarn through those 2 loops that are on the hook to complete that 5th stitch. And from here, we're going to now make a spike bobble stitch. So a spike stitch means you're not coming in the next space. It means you're coming directly below it. So like here. If that makes sense. So not here, but right here. And because we're doing a bobble at the same time, we are going to wrap the yarn and come down in this stitch below. So wrap the yarn, come in this stitch space below, pull the yarn up, and make sure you pull it up, and then pull the yarn through 2 loops that are on the hook. And now you'll have 2 loops on the hook right here. Let's repeat that. So wrap, come in the same space, pull up, make sure you always pull up, and pull through 2 loops on the hook. Now you have 3 loops on the hook left over. Last time, wrap the yarn, same stitch space, pull the yarn up, and pull through 2 loops on the hook. You'll have 4 loops now on the hook, and this is where you're going to change the yarn color back to flesh pink and pull it all the way through just like that. Okay, from here we're going to make another 5 single crochet stitches in flesh pink. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's the 5th. And on the 5th, we're going to change our yarn color back to black. And make sure you don't pull this too tightly as well. You can pull this out so that we've got that bubble stitch right there. And then we're going to weave that black yarn through those 2 loops. And in the same way, we're going to make the spike bubble stitch. So not come here, but come directly below. Wrap that yarn, pull up, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull up, pull through 2, wrap the yarn, pull it up, and pull through 2. And that's it. Now we'll change the yarn color back to flesh pink, pull through all 4 loops on that hook, and now we will complete the rest and remaining stitches with flesh pink. And we're also going to overlay this black yarn color over the hook just for the first stitch. So there's 1. Now you can leave it. 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6. Now on this last single crochet stitch right here, you're going to change the yarn color to royal blue. So that's what we have right here. So I'm just going to grab my royal blue yarn. Okay, so we have our royal blue yarn right here, and we're going to weave that through those last 2 loops on the hook for that final stitch in round number 4. And then we'll just come into that first stitch space, grab our flesh pink and royal blue colored yarn, and just make that slip stitch. So have those 2 yarn tails on top of the hook as you make that slip stitch is what I'm saying, just to secure it in place, just for that slip stitch. Okay, so for here, what we're going to do now is just make 18 single crochet stitches all the way around. Super simple, nice and easy. Just make those 18 single crochet stitches. Now, just a technique that I want to let you guys know of. To get your stitches straight, what you want to do is have this hook vertical when you pull up the loop. So have a look at this. You pull the yarn through here, and then as you pull it up, you're twisting it so that it's vertical. I hope that makes sense. I have a video on that as well. You can go check it out in my beginner tutorial playlist. And that just helps keep those stitches straight as much as possible. So try and apply that technique as best as you can to get those stitches aligned as best as possible. Okay, so we've just finished round number 5. There's the 18th stitch right there. We're coming into the very first stitch space and making a slip stitch and then chaining 1. Now for round 6, we're going to do the very same thing. So all it is 18 single crochet stitches for round number 6. Okay, so in round 6, on that last and final 18th stitch, we're going to weave the yellow yarn through. And then we will make a slip stitch and chain one. Just ensure that the royal blue and yellow yarn tail are laying on top of the hook. And don't have this too wide as well, so we're going to have to pull that a little bit too, just to make sure our slip stitch is not big. So we're just going to pull that, pull through, and of course chain one. Now if you are getting a lot of these tangled at this point, you can chop off the black because we won't need that until a little bit later. So let's chop that off and get rid of that right now. You can also chop off the royal blue because we also won't need that one, but we will need the flesh pink, so let's just keep the flesh pink with us at this time. Okay, so here we go. We are going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 single crochet stitches in yellow, and then we're going to change to flesh pink at this point, like that. Now for the next 3 single crochet stitches in flesh pink, we are going to work in those back loops only. So let's do that here. So once, back loop, twice, and here's the third one. Third, and on that third one, we're going to change back to our yellow. So let's grab the yellow and pull through. You can give this a little bit of a tug. And then from here, we're just working in the normal stitch space and continuing on with the remaining stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and number 8. Just like that, slip stitch and chain 1 to finish round 7 like that. Now for round number 8, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So just repeating everything that you did in round number 7, except, let's have a look here. So I'm just going to quickly complete these 7 single crochet stitches at first. Oops, we clipped that black, that's okay. So here we go. I'm going to change to flesh pink at this point. But this time I'm not working in the back loops, is all that's different in round number 8. So we're just making 3 regular single crochet stitches, just like that, and then change back to your yellow colored yarn. Give this flesh pink yarn color a little bit of a tug, and then you can actually have it come over the hook because we're not using it again for the next little while. So we're going to secure it in there by doing the first single crochet stitch in yellow with the flesh pink colored yarn over the hook to secure it in. And just finish off now those remaining 8 single crochet stitches. And that will be the end of round number 8. For round number 9, we are just starting that right here, right now. We're going to do everything almost the same. So we've got our 7 single crochet stitches in yellow first. I keep clipping this bobble stitch. I'm going to have to fix that later. So remember those 7 single crochet stitches in yellow. And on the 7th one, we're going to change now, not to flesh pink, but we are going to change to cream white or white. Okay, so grab that white colored yarn and weave it through. Weave it through now on that 7th single crochet stitch in yellow. Pull the yellow yarn tail so you've got no loose stitch over here. And then from here, we're just going to work now. You can work technically in the front loops or the back and front loops all at the same time. So I'll just do both. So we're just working those 3 single crochet stitches, 2 and 3. Change back to yellow colored yarn and continue now with the remaining stitches in yellow. Alright, so we're up to round number 10 right here. And for this one, we're going to apply that spike bubble stitch technique again, whilst also interchanging between different yarn colors. So let's start off with 4 single crochet stitches in our yellow colored yarn. So this is number 3, and here is number 4. Now, once you get to the 4th one, you're going to change your yarn color to flesh pink. So grab that flesh pink colored yarn and weave it through those 2 loops on the hook, just like that. Now from here, we're going to make that spike bubble stitch again. So we're not coming here, we're wrapping the yarn and we're coming directly below. So here we go now. We're going to pull it up and pull through 2 loops. Pull it up and again pull through 2 loops, and we'll repeat that once more. Pull it up and pull through 2 loops. Now we have 4 loops on that hook. Grab your yellow colored yarn again and pull it through all 4 loops on the hook. Then we're going to make the next 2 stitches in yellow and weave the flesh pink underneath the hook as you go. Over the top of the hook as you make that stitch. Now for that second stitch in yellow, this is where we're going to change now to white. So grab your white colored yarn and pull through those 2 loops on the hook. From here we're just going to make our 3 single crochet stitches in white. So here's 1, here's number 2, and number 3. Then we're going to change back on that 3rd stitch in white to yellow again. So let's grab our yellow colored yarn, pull through those 2 loops on the hook, and we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be number 6 after this bubble stitch, and this will be our 7th single crochet stitch after the bubble stitch. And it's on the 7th that you're going to change here back to your flesh pink colored yarn. Just like that, because now we're going to make our second hand, or arm/hand at the same time. So wrap the yarn, spike, bubble stitch, don't come here, come down below and make the spike bubble stitch. So we're just going to do this a little bit faster this time. You're wrapping and pulling through 2 all the way until you have 4 loops on the hook. Then change back to your yellow colored yarn and pull through all 4 loops on the hook. And now you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 single crochet stitches to complete that round number 10. Slip stitch and chain 1 to finish it off. So in the last stitch of your 10th round, what you want to do here is change the yarn color to black. So we're just going to add black colored yarn right here. And then we'll make a we'll make a slip stitch in the 1st stitch of that round and chain 1. There we go. Okay, so what we want to do here now is something a little bit different. You probably haven't done this before, unless you've done some of my patterns before, but we'll start off by making a single crochet stitch right there. Next, what you're going to do is make an invisible decrease. So what I did right there was I went through the front loops of the 2 adjacent stitch spaces. So front loops right there, then I pull the yarn through those 2 front loops, and then I pull the yarn through again to finish off that invisible decrease. So let's do it again. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an invisible decrease. There we go. Then we've got a single crochet stitch here, and I want to change the yarn color to white because we've got white coming up over here that we need to keep as white. So let us pull the white through, pull that black yarn tail, and from here we want to make an invisible decrease, just like that. Then another single crochet stitch, and this is where we can change our yarn color back to black, just like that, and then an invisible decrease. Let's do it another 2 times. Single crochet stitch first, followed by another invisible decrease, and 1 more to go. Single crochet stitch, followed by the final invisible decrease. Now it's on this last one right here in round number 11 where we're going to change our yarn color back to flesh pink. So you can see we've used a lot of flesh pink, and we're going to use it from here on out as well to complete the head. So come into this very first stitch, have the black yarn on top of your loop. Don't make this loop too wide. I've got to somehow pull this a little bit more, and then make yourself a beautiful slip stitch and chain 1. Now what we'll do at this point, so your yarn doesn't get in the way, let's cut off all these yarn tails. There we go. So now we're just left with our flesh pink. Nothing's going to get in the way, and we're going to continue on from this point. So this is round number 12. Now for round number 12, what we're going to do is the following. We're going to work in the back loops only, all the way around. So just those back loops. We'll start off with a single crochet stitch, come in the next back loop stitch and make an increase. 1, 2, just like that. And we're going to repeat that all the way around. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, and repeat that all the way around until you work all the way around, and then you should have 18 single crochet stitches in the round at the end. For round number 13 here, we're just going to make this time 2 single crochet stitches followed by an increase. 1 and 2. Let's do it again. 2 single crochet stitches, 1 and 2, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. And I want you to just complete that all the way around, and you will have 24 single crochet stitches at the end of round number 13. Round 13 is now complete, as you can see. Now for rounds 14, 15, 16, and 17, so that's 4 rounds in total, we're just going to be making 24 single crochet stitches. So I'm going to let you guys pause the video and come back once you finish those 4 rounds, which were from rounds 14 all the way to round 17. So it's when we get to round 18 that we'll start together again. And we're back with round number 18. So for round number 18, we're doing the following: single crochet stitch, another single crochet stitch, followed by an invisible decrease. Let's do that again. So we've got 2 single crochet stitches, followed by an invisible decrease. I just repeat that another 4 times in total to complete the end of round number 18. And here's the end of round 18 right now. Slip stitch and chain 1. Now if you want to add your eyes at this point, just fast forward so you can see where we insert those eyes. I usually like to do one more round before I insert those eyes, but feel free to fast forward, see where those eyes are positioned, and add them in. You can also start filling up with fiber filling too if you'd like to. I'm going to do it after this round though. So for this round, this is round number 19, we're going single crochet stitch first, followed by invisible decrease, and we're just going to repeat that over and over again 6 times total until we have finished round number 19. So single crochet stitch first, followed by invisible decrease. Once you've finished round number 19, you're just going to make that slip stitch and have it so that you made that chain 1, but you're pulling it out a lot more because we've got some things to do here and you don't want to have this unravel itself. So that's why I pulled it so it's a little bit longer there. Okay, so now let us insert our eyes. Okay, so I've just inserted these 6/7mm black safety eyes. You can use either or in the size. And we've inserted them, they're about, let's say, 1-2 stitch spaces apart. So that you can actually see 2 stitches between those eyes. And we've inserted them between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, between rounds 15 and 16. So that's right there, 15 and 16, between those 2 stitch spaces that are visible between these eyes, and those eyes should align directly within that space of the arms and the legs. So that's what it should look like. And then of course you have to insert the back portion of your eyes as well. So I kind of lift mine up. I have the narrow end facing towards the safety eye, and then I push it right to the end of the wall there. And I'll do the exact same for the other one. So narrow end will come up on top of that safety eye, push it in, and push it until it gets right up to the edge of the yarn space at the back there. And there we go. So those are the eyes all inserted right now. And this is the part where we start adding fiber filling inside the body. Now you want to use a pair of cutters for this as well to kind of condense that yarn as you're pushing it in. So let's do it step by step. You don't want to put in a bunch of fiber filling in one go. You need to do it layer by layer so we can work this nice and well, so that we've got it like we've made it evenly bulky throughout, if that makes sense. So I've just got layer by layer, and I'll get you guys to completely do this until it's finished all the way up to the top, and then we'll start that last round together, round number 20. Okay, so we've filled this up as best as we can with our fiber filling, and it's nice and condensed in there. We haven't overfilled it either, so it's not bursting out at the seams. And now we're just going to continue on with our next round. So here you can see in this final round, we're just going to be making 6 invisible decreases. So there's 1, 2, 3, and you're just going to complete this until you get up to number 6. Now, if you did crochet in a spiral, what you want to do is only make 5 invisible decreases and then make a slip stitch on the next one. Just like that. Now, once you have done that, you're going to pull the yarn here, and then you're going to cut the yarn. Give yourself around about a 15 to 20 centimeter yarn tail at the end here, and then we're going to weave it through, and I'll show you that in just a moment with a needle. And here I'm just using my leather needle. As you can see, this is my sharp needle, but feel free to use a tapestry or sewing needle at this point. It's not going to make any difference. And we've just woven in our yarn tail through the eye of that needle. And then come here, I'm going to show you, come here, and then have a look at this. Okay, so we've got 6, and if you crochet in a spiral, you'll have 7 remaining stitches with a gap at the top, okay? So what we're going to do here is weave this needle through the front loop of the remaining stitches all the way around. So you can see I'm going through the front loops one at a time. So this will be my 3rd. Here's my 4th, my 5th, and finally my 6th. Okay, so at this point I'm going to pull this yarn in a clockwise direction. You can see this right here. So I'm pulling it nice and tight. Don't pull it, don't over pull it. You don't want this to snap. But pull it according to the tensile strength that you can muster up. I don't know if I said that correctly. Anyways, then what you want to have is your needle come straight through the center, and then you can come out anywhere where there's flesh pink colored yarn. And you're just going to pull that slightly as well to make it even more flat. You can just kind of direct any bumps stuff inside the head with your needle. Okay, and then to have this secure in place, can you see how these stitches make sort of this cross with this diagonal coming over the top here? I'm going to follow the lining of that so that it goes like that. So I'm coming in at the base here. I'll come out anywhere. Don't pull it too tight though. You just want it leaning over the top. And it kind of sort of fades in there or blends in there really nicely. So I'm going to do the same over here. And then 3 or 4 times is completely enough to secure that in place. So that's my 3rd, and maybe just 1 more. Come out anywhere in the head, grab your pair of cutters, and cut the remaining excess yarn. And there you go, guys. So you can just reshape the head, have those eyes the way that you want them, and this is finished now, the body. So the next thing we are going to do is the hair. Okay, so the hair might seem a little bit tricky, but it's actually super simple. Now I'm going to teach you how to do this right now. So let's start off with a magic ring and making 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. You guys should all be familiar now with making these single crochet stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6, just like that. Then you're going to pull that yarn tail nice and tight, close that gap, and then come into the very first single crochet stitch and finish off with a slip stitch and chain 1 for that round number 1. Okay, so for round number 2, it's something that we've seen before as well. We're just making 6 increases. So there's our first increase. Here's our second, our 3rd, 1 and 2, our 4th, 1, 2, our 5th, and feel free to pause this video at any time, guys, and then press play when you're up to the same part as me, or you may just be super fast and you can fast forward the video as well. Okay, so we've made 6 increases there. We've got a total of 12 stitches. We come into the very first one, make a slip stitch and chain 1. For the third round, again, it's something that's seen before. We've got our single crochet stitch first, followed by, let's just do that again because I think I skipped a little stitch over here somewhere. I did. So here we go. Single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase. 1 and 2. Let's just show you one more time. So single crochet stitch first, followed by an increase, and you're going to repeat that all the way around. You will have 18 stitches finishing round number 3. Round number 3 is now complete, and for round number 4 we will do the following: 2 single crochet stitches this time, followed by an increase, and at the end of round 4 you will have a total of 24 single crochet stitches in the round, as you will be repeating this pattern: 2 single crochet stitches, 1, 2, followed by an increase all the way around. And we are up to round number 5. Now for the next 5 rounds, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, so rounds 5 to 9, 5 rounds in total, we're just making single crochet stitches all the way around. So technically that would mean we are making 24 single crochet stitches in each round for the next 5 rounds. So I'm going to let you guys pause the video and come back once you finish those 5 rounds. And we've just finished those 5 rounds. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So a total of 9 rounds. Now it's at this point you've made that slip stitch. We're actually going to chain 41. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, and 41. And we're going to start off with our hook coming in the second loop from the hook, technically. So this is our hook here, and we're coming in the second loop from the hook. So not the first, the second. And we're going to start off by making, that's our first slip stitch, and we're going to make another 9 slip stitches. So that's our second. Here's number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, here's number 7, number 8, number 9, and finally number 10. Once you've done that, we're going to make now 10 single crochet stitches. So here's our first single crochet stitch, our second, our third, fourth, fifth, number 6. Just get myself some more yarn over here. So we've done 6. Here comes the 7th, the 8th, ninth, and number 10. So there we go. Now we're going to do the next 10 as a half double crochet stitch. So there's our first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, number 9, and here's the 10th, and finally we'll do another 10 double crochet stitches. So you pull through 2 and pull through 2. So this is our second double crochet stitch. Here's the third coming up. The fourth. The fifth. 5 more to go. 6th. 7th. 8th. 9th, and finally number 10. And now from here, what we're going to do is skip, or actually, yeah, you're going to skip one of these stitch spaces and come in the next stitch space over here. And there we go. So there is our first hair strand, and you are going to repeat that another 2 times, remembering as you come here, you'll skip one, come to the other and make that slip stitch, then chain your 41 again and start again. All right, so let's pause the video and come back once we've made our total 3 hair strands. And we've just finished 3 hair strands. And so with this final hair strand here, I'm just going to skip one and make a slip stitch in this space right here. And then from here, all I'm going to do is have the yarn come through and cut maybe about a 40 centimeter yarn tail. And there we go, there's our yarn tail here. So we've got our 3 hair strands, and we are going to be braiding these, and then we have our 40 centimeter yarn tail so that we can use this for sewing later. Okay, so let's get onto this now. We can actually cut this inner section just so it doesn't get too much in the way, or you can weave it in. I find that it's more than fine even if you don't weave it in at this point. And now we're going to fit the hair on the head just like that. You can see it's pretty much a perfect fit right there. And you've got these 3 hair strands at the top here. Can you see that? So what we need to do now is, if you want, this is completely optional, I'm just going to pin this in place. One here, one maybe at the center, and one over here. And now what you're going to do is you're going to braid this down the length of the strands. So let us begin. By the way, I'm pretty sure all of you will know how to do a braid, but just in case you don't, you'll have the most left, our left, so this is my left hand, strand coming across the middle one, and then you have the most right coming across now the left, but what we call now as the middle one. And you're just going to keep repeating that pattern, and you're going to pull it down the length of this as well. Just make sure you're doing that nice and well, and you can pin it in certain places as well. So remember, the most left going over and then the most right going over, and you're just going to keep repeating that all the way. And you can pin it in different positions. Like for example, I could pin it right here so I don't get mixed up anymore with that one. And you just keep going, and that's it. You're going to go all the way down. Keep it so that the flat part is always facing up. So you can see how I'm not kind of twisting it like that. I'm just always keeping it nice and flat the entire time. You're just going to keep braiding it. I'm not going to pin it down anymore. Just keep going one over the other until you kind of run out of your hair strand. And once you've run out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a pin right there, and then I'm going to just pin this last 3 strands at the base there together. Okay, so you can see that, right? So now I'm just going to readjust the front so that that braid is directly at the front. So just about there, which is perfect. And it's going to come all the way down across the middle of the head. and we'll sort of pin it on the side here as well. And there we go. So you can even pull it a little bit more just so you can really see that braid. You can even pull this part slightly more as well, especially as you're braiding it. And we'll just come across here, keep a nice length of our hair braid like that, and there we go. So what we're going to do at this point is use this yarn tail right here to sew across here and this hair braid on the middle portion of the head. We're not going to sew all of this. We're going to leave this here, and I'm going to show you what to do at the end here. But grab this yarn tail from the hair and start sewing around here and then at the front, just in a few spots to keep it in place. Okay, so let's sew together, guys. So I've got this part here, and I'm just going to go into the back section over here. Then I'm going to go right here. I'm just going to sew this in a few different places, and I will come further back. So I'm just keeping the lining of the stitch right here. Then I also want one right at the top here to keep this front part in place. So there's one. I'm just going to come anywhere down here. Can't really see it, but that's okay. And then I will keep just working my way around this part of the head so it's kept in place nice and neatly here. And I'm going to go all the way around the back as well, just in a few different spots. So there's one. Just want to keep the hair in place is the aim of all of this. Completely up to you how you want to sew this. This is just one way of sewing right here. Can even come right up here, and this is nicely done. So what we're going to do now is sew the braid in place so that once we remove these pins, this braid will always be here. So I'm just going to come around here. I'll come around this part here, but I'm going to weave back into this stitch. This is just so I've got some extra space to work with my needle. Then I'm going to come in this section here, and then maybe come across this part here. And then I'm going to work around this section here. So I'm just going to come maybe across here. I'll come right over here just so I've got some more working space with that needle again. Come back into the same stitch space and come across in the other side. Come directly into the middle. And honestly, this is looking fantastic. So I'm just going to come out here and let's see how it is. So I'm going to remove that needle, and there was that middle pin as well, and that is now set in place. So I'm going to leave that just like that. I'm going to keep this here as well. I'm going to cut this yarn, or just before I do that, I'm going to weave it in one of those hair stitches just so it's nicely secured in place there. Then I'm going to cut this and push in that excess into the head. Okay, so this is looking great. We've got the braid over here, and now we need to fix up this last little part over here at the base. So what we will do with that, you can see how I've got 4 strands of my 4-ply cotton yarn, right? So we are actually going to remove 3 of those strands. I'm just trying to create a thinner piece of yarn strand, if that makes sense. I should have probably done this outside the needle just to make it easier for myself, because now it looks like I've knotted it in place. Oh, there we go. That was good. Okay, and then I'm gonna weave this back in, just the 1 ply. And then at the base here, I'm gonna grab this pin, don't undo it, but I'm gonna weave in my yarn in a few of these stitch spaces at the back, leave a little bit of a tail, and then all I will do is sew these 3 hair strands together. That's all I'm going to do here. So I can remove this pin at this point. I'm just going to keep going back and forth through these hair strands to keep them nicely secured in place. That's what I want to do here. So I'm going to keep going. 1, 2, come across the other side, come into this yarn strand, come back over the top, back into this one, and it kind of just secures it all in place together, which is exactly what you want, guys. And that way you don't have to sew down the entire length of it as well, which is brilliant. And to finish off, we're just going to weave it in a few of these stitch spaces. 1, 2, we can weave it in a few more just to fully secure that. You can go one way and then come back down the other side if you'd like as well. So there's one way, and then we can come back and just weave it in coming down. Just like this, and that will definitely have that nice and secured in place. So what we can do there is chop off these 2 yarn tails. It's not going to unravel. It's been sewn many times now across those 3 hair strands, and there we go. So this is the entire braid now coming down the length of the hair, or the body, comes down the length of the body, I should say. Now all we're going to do is add the final few details just to complete this look. So see this hair tie right here? We're going to make this right now. So grab yourselves a little bit of yellow yarn, give yourselves about a 10 centimeter yarn tail, and then just make a slip knot. From here we're just going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. In the second loop from the hook, you'll just make a simple slip stitch, just like that. Then a single crochet stitch, then a half double crochet stitch, and let's just make another half double crochet stitch and finish off with one more half double crochet stitch. So that's 3 half double crochet stitches in total. And there we go. So we are going to pull this yarn tail. You can chop off about until you've got around about 10 centimeters again on the other side. Doesn't have to be exact. Just like that. And there we go. So now we can tie these 2 yarn strands together. And from here, what we're going to do, so this is what it looks like. We're going to come around the end portion of our braid, and we are going to tie with these 2 yarn tail ends a couple of knots. So we'll just make 1 knot first, like that. Reposition where you'd like it to go. So there's 1. Let's make another one. Here's the double knot. Let's go around. And on the inside now we can also make a double knot. There's 1. Let's make 1 more. Like that. And then, no need to weave this in. We can just, if this is tight enough, you can just chop right at the top part of that knot, and then you've got a little hair tie right there. It's perfect. So there we go. So that's that hair tie right there. Here now I have 1 ply black yarn. So I actually took 1 ply, just as we did with this purple strand over here. I had 4 ply and I took 1 strand off to make 1 ply. I just want a thin piece of yarn right here. And what I'm going to do is come into my needle. Oops, did not weave that through. Let's try that again. Second attempt. right here, done. And now what we're going to do is make this lining, the jacket lining. So for the jacket lining, all we did was come and make a straight line here and a straight line here, and that is literally it. Just gives it a bit more definition. So I'm going to come up the top here, round about, I'm trying to get that needle right there. Got it. Pull it, so give yourselves a little bit of a yarn tail at the end here so you can use that for tying later. And then you just want to go directly down to the end of the blue here. And then come at this corner here where the yellow is, so you can make that second jacket line. This is all we're doing, just a little bit of embroidery to give this some finer details, and that's it. Then wherever you inserted the yarn, you're going to emerge the yarn in that same space. Make sure those lines are straight though, as much as possible. Give it a little bit of direction if you need it. And then with these two yarn tails right here, all we're going to do is make a double knot, as we've been doing anyway with the other yarn tails that we've needed to secure. So there we go, there's our double knot. You can even do a triple knot, you know. Because the yarn is so tiny, we can secure that even with a triple knot. Okay, so we're going to cut this now. There's the black part done. And just push this inside the body to hide, just like that. And there we go. So there's the jacket portion of our beautiful Rumi doll. And you can even add a nose if you like. I usually don't want to add a nose or a mouth for such small tiny dolls, but it's completely up to you how you want to do it. Sometimes I find if the nose comes down here, it looks a bit strange, and if you put it in between the eyes, that also looks a bit strange too. It just the spaces between those things wouldn't really work out. If you wanted to put a mouth, you could put like a little line down here if you'd like, but really not necessary. And then finally we have one little portion to go. So this is the red portion. Now up to you whether you want to include these lines here and here, or you just want to go around. Depends how you want to do that. So all I'm going to do now is grab myself some red colored yarn. I'm going to chop off about maybe 40 centimeters. You probably won't need all of that, but I'm going to just give myself a little bit of excess. Better to have a little bit more than not enough, because then you have to start again. Okay, and let's do this together. So shall we make, let's see what we've done here. We've gone behind the foot and made a line dash. So that's exactly what we're going to do right here. We're going to come around here. It's like one stitch space behind the leg, and just go directly down into that stitch space, and we'll do the same on the other side. So that's what it looks like there. And then we're going to do the exact same on this side. And then we're going to come at the top here, where you've got the interchange between the blue and the yellow. Go in between that. And then you're going to work all the way around twice, just to give it that extra thickness. Now you could chain this as well if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm going to come inside that same space. I'm going to work my way out here, right, inserted the yarn. Pull this nice and tight, keep these together all the way through. Just give it a nice little pull if you'd like, just so you can keep this nice and tight. Give it a little bit of a redirection, if you will. And then from there, we're just going to secure this again in a double knot. Just like that. Just one double knot is more than fine because you're working with that 4-ply cotton yarn. Cut it off. Chuck away that extra bit of yarn that you don't need, or keep it and use it as stuffing, as for other dolls and things like that. You can use it as fiber filling. And there we go, guys. We have just completed this. And there we go, guys. So we have just completed our beautiful Rumi doll, as you can see here. Absolutely gorgeous. And we now have 2 in total, which is fantastic. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this a lot, and I guess I will see you in the next one when we make more of these amigurumi dolls, which are so precious. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!